We are all set and ready to go. So, last time we left off, we were making a nice, pretty exterior for the crystal oscillator factory. Now, this time, we need to finish it off. So, first of all, I really don't like these walls. These pillars look silly, and I think I've come up with a good fix for them, but we'll have to see. Obviously, I haven't tried it out. So these are what, fancy wall v3. I need a better naming scheme. All right, so instead of having it like this, what if we just go very simple and simply just have that be a pillar, and then looks like we need an additional 1 meter foundation to round that out. Alright, then I feel like we do want something on this pillar. Just some sort of decoration. So we could have these beams go out and sort of wrap around. I think that would look good. So something like that. And then the same thing here. Just go boom, boom, and boom. Alright. Is that any good? It's probably needs something in the middle there. What does this braided cable do? Apparently the answer is nothing. Alright, that I think isn't good. And so I think probably just sticking a vent in here. Maybe. Let's try that. We'll call this fancy wall V4 because it is quite different from V3. And then we're going to need to tear out all of these and replace them. I need to get to a good vantage point. Oh, if only I had the hover pack for this. Alright, so we need to climb up and just stand on top of the blueprint designer. So up here we go. And all of these go away. Let's just take out 2 rows for now, just to pop this in and get an immediate impression off of it. And that has to go build mode blueprint. And then just pop those in. Alright, so then that I actually think I like. Yeah, maybe not the vents. Maybe just like that. Let's take all those vents out and see. Yeah, I think that works. I think I like it better without the vents there. So let's configure this up. Pop that in. Take out the vent and save it. Maybe find some color contrast for the pillars as compared to the walls. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not very good at colors and stuff. This is all very new to me. Alright, so we just gotta take those ones out and replace them with the new ones. So then these go in and up there. So all of those go in. And then something like that. It is definitely very gray. But I don't know how to make colors look good. I think this would look better for a factory that wasn't crystal oscillators, I think. It feels too boring for them. Alright, so let's try to figure out how colors work. The beams that separate the pillars horizontally be made white. Hang on. Am I crazy, or does that particular row not line up correctly? Yeah, that one doesn't line up right for some reason. Alright, sorry. That's... I guess something went wrong in there. Yeah. Having those be white maybe could work. Take those out since they're not aligned properly. Or is it actually these ones which are aligned wrong? Oh yeah, it's these ones which are set up wrong. Is it gray or blue-gray? It's gray. It's just like the default concrete color. Alright, so let's go in here. What are all of these? So what if I just... What does this actually do? Seemingly nothing. Alright, what about this one? This is a very... Also seemingly doesn't do anything. Let's see here. How do we do that? How do we make that better then? Maybe those changed? You can't really tell the change on the side. Oh yeah, there's a different painted beams thing. Yeah, I can switch to those. Where are those? Alright, so I guess we just... Yeah, no, that's gonna bug me. That's obviously clipping. Take all that out. What's that doing in there? Oh, I guess I placed that. Alright, so let's take all of these out. And then... Oh wait, no, don't place it back in exactly the same. That would defeat the point of removing it. So this just comes around like that, and like that, and that. And it does the same thing up at the top. Wait, that one didn't quite line up right onto the foundation itself. Okay, I have to go like that. And then around. And then back. And across. Alright, so now we have that. We can figure out what color I want it to be. Maybe... I don't know, what does that look like? Is that good? Probably not. Does that look right? Okay, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about colors. Let's probably have to change the concrete to a white or something. Yeah, maybe. So what? Something like this one? Okay, no, that doesn't do anything. Or it does something very minimal. That also is very minimal. It's hard to tell the difference. I don't know, maybe if I do that, just coated concrete instead of regular concrete, then no, it still definitely doesn't. Yeah, I don't know how painting in this works. It feels like you should be able to do more than that. Maybe... No, that definitely doesn't. Yeah, I do like it better like this, I think. So let's go. Where was that? That was this one. Oh wait, no, I didn't want to do that. Because that one was supposed to be different. I don't know. I have really very little clue what I'm doing here with these colors. Definitely switch it to something else. I don't know. I think we're just gonna... I don't want to spend too much time just staring at the same colors. So what? Do I still have to... Why did those not work? Oh, because that's the... Because that's the window, I think. No, it should work. I don't know why it's saying that's invalid customization target. Which of these... Is there a wall thing for that I just didn't buy or something? Down the awesome shop. See if I missed something in here. Walls, foundations. I don't think I missed anything. I guess there isn't a coated concrete wall. That's weird. This is a bit more reflective, which is nice. Let's see if we can get any of these. What does this look like? Is that better or worse? I think that might be worse. I think that might be worse. Yeah, I think this is better. Although now it's different. Need to change the painted beam. Yeah, this is rough. What would I want it to be then? Maybe a darker blue? I don't know, something like that. And then... Yeah, I like that. And then does this go well with the Caterium finish? Just go something like that. Looks kind of rusted almost. I don't know if I like that. Yellow and chrome. Ooh. Maybe? So we do something like this. Pop that onto all of those. And then grab yellow. Yeah, I think... Ooh, I missed. Clicked the wrong thing. Alright. So if we go something like that... Is that... No, that looks more... That looks more like yellow warning light than anything else. What does an oscillator actually look like? Okay, it looks like that. I feel like, though... Yeah, I feel like maybe... I don't know, when I think of crystal oscillators, for whatever reason, I don't think of this. I think of more of like the quartz crystals that are going into them. So maybe a purple. Which of these? Let's just edit one of these brown ones. So if we just make you sort of... What sort of purple do we want here? Maybe a little bit pinkish. I don't know, something like this. That looks like something that was built using quartz crystals. I think that might be good. Yeah, let's try this. See what it looks like on a larger scale. Save that. And now we have to go over here and put it on. And we're probably going to have to make similar changes to the lower floors as well. Alright, so then those all go up. And yeah, I think that actually looks, I mean, aside from the weird not, they seem like they don't line up quite correctly. Is that, how did that happen? Oh. Please let me back up. I almost got trapped under the foundation. It looks quite cool, actually. I like that. We're gonna have to change the bottom floors, obviously, for that to fit. Yeah, I think they're correct. I think the beams are just placed wrong. They just sort of look like this. I think I need to put like some slopes or something in that spot to fix it, because it is lined up right. So if we just put, what's this going to be like? No, it's going to be an inverted ramp. Yeah, so we need to get like an inverted ramp in there somehow. Something like that. Maybe also helps that out. Ooh, that clips that obviously clips a little bit though. But let's figure out what's going on with the painted beams, because there's definitely something wrong there. Alright, so this one is directly on top of the wall, whereas this one is in front of the wall. Yeah, so that's definitely wrong. So we grab that one, drag it out like that. And did we get that right for both? All right, now this one is wrong in the opposite direction. So there we go. Now that lines up better. And we're just gonna have to save that. And then tear all of this out and place it all again because of that tiny little issue, which got duplicated like 20 times. Alright, so then all of these come out. And then we put it back in. Like that. You want the beam to have connecting points at their intersects. What do you mean by that? Also, I need to expand this foundation out so I don't keep falling off a bit. Alright, so those all go in. Alright, so then the next thing we need is probably to just fix these lower levels, and probably just the same thing, turn the beams into purple colored beams, turn the foundation into what, that was chrome or something, right? Alright, so let's go over here, and that was, what was it? Was that just regular old fancy wall? Is that this? Yeah, this is it. And there's also another change I made, which was, where is that? We had another one of these pillar supports at the top. Although that might actually break the blueprint stacking to have it be like that. I think that actually might not work, because it's going to put more space in there. Alright, let's just do the colors. So we need to take those beams out, replace them with painted beams, and how do I get this to line up right? Something like that, and then all the way across, and then there, and all the way across. And now we go customizer, make them purple, customizer, make all of this chrome. That doesn't look the same. Why does this look different? Oh, because we were using the coated concrete. No, because because these are walls and those are technically foundations. Alright. So then we're gonna have to paint the concrete to make it darker somehow. Maybe something like that. Ooh. The lighting has changed dramatically in the past 5 seconds. Alright, so now we have this. Those are really kind of ominous looking. Purple's almost glowy. Alright, so what if we get all of this? Yeah, it does look cool at night. Alright, so then I guess we just apply these to the top and bottom as well. And now let's try to save that and see if if it looks right. Alright, now we have to take those two out and that one out. It's gonna have to deal with that pipe again. Where's fancy wall? There it goes. So that just snaps in there, there, and there. And back up. Why does that look different? Like, why does that look like a completely different color? The stripes. They don't look the same at all. I guess they look the same as the ones that are back there. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. And then we take this row out. Yeah, shade'll do that. Alright, then these all have to go back in. And there we go. Those are facing backwards. Those are all facing the other way. Alright, so let's try that again. They go in like that. And there we go. Yeah, that's something. And then we're just going to have to do this bit manually because that's how I built it. So this was like chrome finish on all of these. And then we need to paint them darker. All right. And we take a step back. And yeah, that looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. All right, we're gonna need to expand that painted beam probably across here, just so that there's some sort of continuity over there. And then this one can just go up to there and stop, and then pick up again. How is that lined up? It's lower than that. Pick up like there. Yeah, that looks fine. Alright, so that is most of a wall of a building. So we need to then just expand this over that way, and then we have to also deal with corners. So we need two types of corners, one for this lower section and one for that higher section, and also we need to figure out what's going on here with this. I think the easier thing will be to have like dedicated corners for all of those, and then just deal with that bottom one individually. Alright, so now we have to make a corner. So we have walls, and we have walls, and these are 3 across, right? Yes, so this is the right size. And then there are like 4 up. So let's set that up. And then we're going to have to figure out how to make this not look terrible. Alright, so we have a corner. Now we need to decorate it probably in the lower style first. So let's get the beams in there and there. We'll do all the painting later after this is all sorted. So the easiest way of doing the corner would be to just literally do the entire thing just like on both of these. Like there's no reason we couldn't just duplicate that on either side, except for that I think it would not look interesting, like this just being a sharp, perfect corner with nothing interesting going on at it, I think would look pretty bad. So we need to fix that. First though, this has to go out, and there's some wacky stuff going on there. Again, we're just going to ignore that and fix it later. So we need foundations, which I can't remember how I got the foundations set up here, but they were like that, I think. Don't know why I did it like that, but that's what I did. Oh, I didn't place it. Alright, please go in like that. And then zoop over that way. And then along that way, but I built the corner too close to the edge of the blueprint designer. Alright, well we're gonna have to rebuild it then, just because we can't have that. So we get, yep, it would be a nudge everything button would be very, very convenient. Alright, so then we just have to rebuild all this. So now we have it like that. And that, this is only too long. We need another wall over there for this side. And then these just come around like that. So this is the same that we have over there. Actually, it doesn't line up right, does it? Because it's supposed to be a little bit set back on this one too. These aren't going to actually be perfectly square with each other. That's funny. Alright, so then this have to be something like that, going out to there. Alright, so then we have this section here, which is not quite a normal sized square. And then we still have to make this look normal. Alright, so first of all, do we just like put... We could just like put a pillar here or something. This also had the things stretching out on the top as well, right? Yes, but it's like a half of a thing on the top. So something like this up there, and there. Alright, so this is basically like if we were to just do that again. But I think we want like a big solid corner pillar in here. So if I were to just go build mode vertical, and is this, yeah, so if I were to just do this, is that good? Now the problem is it's right up by the edge of the blueprint designer, so of course I can't, I don't think anyway, I can like put decorations on it. Although I might be able to put simple stuff like, yeah, like a metal beam can go in there, for example. Alright, so is this any good for a corner piece? Very, very big. I think it might be too big. Yeah, that's probably too large. So what other options are there? So we could just go with like, where is it? A big concrete pillar? Just add something like that going up. And then we would have to make it fit in nicely. And also make sure it's centered, which... Alright, so I think that should look good if we just have it placed correctly. So this goes there. How about that? That looks nice, I think. It's a good, solid pillar-looking thing without being ridiculously huge. Yeah, I think let's go with that. Alright, so then we need to customize it. So that all needs to be chrome. And let's just get all of this as well. Oh, I hit something outside of the blueprint designer. Alright, so that is all applied, and then we need to make it darker. Oh, wait. Why does that make it look like the opposite of darker? Now it just looks normal again. Huh? What the heck? Okay, wait. On this side it looks darker. Is it just because of the lighting, I guess? Because that side is in direct sunlight and that side isn't. Well, it's probably fine. I mean, this is the scheme I've been going with for all of them, right? So if I change it for the corners, that would probably not look great. And then what else? Because this is obviously very boring. We need to get the beams in again. So they just go like that and like that. And then go forwards and around and all the way around. And then, no, not like that. They need to go in like that so that they aren't lined up wrong. And like that. And then we just have to make them purple. So all that goes in. is almost pink in direct sunlight, which is fine, because it is quartz after all. Alright, so then we have all that. Then I want some more decoration here. I think maybe a window, maybe not a window. We have windows all around the bottom there. Let's see. If we just put a window in there, it's going to look basically the same as the other ones. So there's these windows. Yeah, it's these windows. So those go in there and there. And then we have the support pillars on the sides, which, where were these lined up to exactly? Just perfectly centered on the block itself. Cool. That's nice and simple. Alright, so then we go architecture, small pillar support, there, there. Is that lined up? I can't tell. No, it isn't. So that goes there. And there. And then we get small... Are these small concrete or metal? They're metal. Alright, so then these go up. And these go up. And is that all? Is that all that there was over here? Yeah, I think so. Now there's just this weird thing there. Is there any, like, very easy way? Outer corner quarter pipe. Does this even... Yeah, so it's not really gonna work. Actually, is that any good? We're gonna need to make it... We need to make it... what? Concrete or coated concrete or something. No, because that looks terrible from the side. Alright. I think we might have to just leave it like this. Unless I can figure out some clever scheme. Should be fine, though. Alright, so let's call this Fancy Corner. My naming scheme is incredible. Alright, so now we come around here. And Fancy Corner. Not gonna snap in properly, is it? We're gonna have to get it in manually, I guess. We have it like that. Is that correct? Can't tell. I'm gonna have to get up there. Yep, that is correct. And then corners around, and we can just keep placing the walls along here. So fancy wall V4, or no, not V4, because this is the bottom, so this is where fancy wall V1 goes. Where is that? I'm gonna have to stand back here. Line it up. And then nudge it into place like that. I think that's correct. And just fly up, get a closer look to be sure. Yep, it is. Alright, so then how does that look as a corner? Pretty solid. Not exactly, like, memorable or anything, but it's perfectly acceptable. And then we're going to need to get a similar corner in for V2, which hopefully will just be a slight modification for that corner. Alright, so let's load up the corner. And alright, so we don't have that. We don't have the pillars. Get rid of all of these. Okay, now that is solid. Get rid of all of those. And there we go. Okay, so the windows up there were too tall. So that all goes out, goes in. Then we take out those two and those two, and we put in a window. So we have those, and then we have to do the same thing over here. So those come out, and those come out. And we put the, not that one, we put the hex frame window in. Alright, so then we're going to have to move these beams around. Alright, then these go up here and across. And they loop around the pillar. Like that. And no, don't do that. Go there and across. And then we have to get these in as well. So these go across there. Alright, so all of this is in. Now, I don't like having the window so close to the pillar because it makes it very obvious whether there's, like, anything in there or not. I think we might take that pillar out. And also, can I just make this just, like, a bit wider so that I can step back and not fall off? Thank you. Alright, so then... Alright, but then we had this big foundation in here, which goes up. And we had an entirely different top and bottom, actually, for these ones. So those go out, and they're replaced by, I think, these ramps. So something like that, that, and I think that's correct. And then we have to do similar ramps up at the top. So we get inverted 2-meter ramp, and it's this time they're sort of pointed like that, and like that. Is that right? No, that's probably wrong, isn't it? No, that is right, I think. I think that's how I did that. And then those don't exist. And then we just need to do the customization. So you do something like that. And get Chrome finish. And then I don't even know if those two stack. I actually can't tell. Looks slightly metallic though. So we have that, and we need to put the colors in. No, we already got those. Right, so now we need to grab the painted beams, and around they go. So then they go around the pillar. And like that. And now we just have to get the same thing over here. Right. That pillar support also has to go away. Is that correctly lined up? I still am not confident that it is. No, I think it goes... Well, does it go just barely a little bit higher? It might. Because this side hasn't had these put in yet. So I think it probably is just that little bit higher. Because it's also possible that this foundation isn't supposed to be there. No, it definitely is. There's the 1 meter foundation, followed by all the 4s. Okay, it's actually like a 1 followed by a 2, followed by all the 4s for some reason. Oh, this is supposed to be a 2 meter foundation. Got it. Alright, so I figured out that. So those have to go away. And then we get a 2 meter foundation in there, followed by all the 4 meter foundations, followed by... So then these have to come out and they're going to need to be replaced. So we get 4 meter foundations. They go up, and then it's 4, and then a 1, and then the 2 for the next one. So if we go foundations, 1 meter. Is that the correct height? Yeah, I guess it is. So these are too high. So we take those out. And then we need to get them in. Like that. And please just line up properly. Why are you lining up to everything except the one I want you to? There we go. Alright, so then this should line up. No, it doesn't. We're a meter short. How are we a meter short? What am I doing differently? 2 followed by a 1 followed by a 4 and a 4 and a 4 and then a 1 Alright, well, we can just put in, we can just make this, because it does need to line up perfectly with that, right? And this is exactly the height of them. So we take those out. And we place them in... Actually, they don't come all the way out, do they? Alright, time to just do a closer investigation of these to figure out what exactly I did over here. Okay, they definitely don't come all the way out. They do sneak back behind there. And then as for the numbers of these, it's 2, then a 1, then a 4, then a 4, then a 4, then a 1, then a 2, then a 1. Okay, got it. Alright, so we come down here. We have a 2. I mean, it technically doesn't matter what order they're in, as long as they're all the right height, but slightly, marginally better this way. 2 followed by a 1. Followed by all of those. And that. Please say that this is correct. Yep, that lines up perfectly. Alright, and there's like a half slab in there that's clipping like crazy, I think. Yeah, let's get those half foundations out of there. And then get these ramps in. No, inverted ramps. So that goes there. That goes there. And that should be good once we get the colors in. So customizer, make all of those guys chrome, and then make them darker. I think they lost the chrome. How do I make them be dark but also chrome? And which ones are those? So those ones are chrome, those ones aren't. Okay. Oh, whatever, close enough. So then, if we make all the background stuff chrome as well, and let's make the pillar chrome, because why not? Then we just need to do the same thing over here. So we take out those half foundations. We need to make sure that these go in correctly. They do. Just that little bit past the wall. Alright, so then we go here. We put in, so we have a 2 meter, so we have a 1 meter foundation there. Then we have a 2 meter foundation. Then we have a couple of those. And then one last meter up at the top. So then these stripes need to wrap around the pillar. And around they go. And then this one wraps around the pillar. And around it goes. Alright, so that is that. Then we take those out. We replace them with 2 meter ramps. That ramp up into it. And like that. And then we just have to put the ramps up at the top. So inverted 2-meter ramps. Like there. And there. Alright, that should be good on the building. Now we just have to customize it. So you get to all be chrome. And then all that stuff gets to be chrome as well. I should make these chrome. Can't remember if I did that or not. Alright. So that is that. And we should be good to go for this corner. So this is Fancy Corner V2. Save the blueprint. And now we just have to place it in a couple of times and see what happens. So blueprints, Fancy Corner V2. It should snap to on top of Fancy Corner V1, but it doesn't. Alright, let's get a look at it from this angle. We put that onto there. Is that correctly lined up both ways? Looks like it. Is it... Oh, don't get hit by a train. Is it lined up with the walls? It is. Alright, so then we have that in. We just need to kind of pop a ladder in so I can get a higher vantage point. Up we go. And get a bit higher up. Alright, so then we need to put Fancy Corner V2 there as well. And it should snap in, but it won't. Oh, that's not even rotated correctly. It has to be rotated like that, and it does snap in. Alright, so all those go. And that is most of the corner of the building. Just have to do that weird little irregular space down there where the train entrance is. And anything look obviously off? Yes, the material of that corner is different from the material of all these other pillars. Oh, I forgot to make it coated concrete. That's important. Let's just fix that in place. And it should be good. Alright, and then there's the bottom, which is slightly different, I think. What's going on with the colors here? So that looks more correct, but I think it also might just be... It also might just simply be a lighting thing. So those are all chrome. Oh, when I changed the material, it didn't change it. It didn't keep the chrome finish. That's what happened. Alright, so we got all that. And, okay, we clearly missed one of those. So we get that one. and then chrome finish it. Alright, that looks good. Looks solid to me. And then there's just the question of finishing off the rest of the building, which we do need to make those fixes into the corner blueprint. So let's head back here and load that up. Alright, so customizer, materials, coated concrete. There you go. Did I miss any? Doesn't look like it. So then we go customizer, colors, chrome finish. So all of that gets that applied. And then we need to do the same thing for these ones, which is change them to coated concrete. Like so. And then change them to chrome. Oh. I accidentally clicked one of the beams. You need to be purple. Alright, so that is that. All sorted out. And can we do something similar for this? No, those are already coated concrete, I think. Or they just aren't allowed to be changed like that. Alright, so then we can just save that. And that should be good. Okay, what happened? Alright, because that is a different type of thing. That is a different type of building. Alright, so then we have to come over here and we need to fix this pillar as well because it's also wrong. Let's get a ladder up. Good solid distance. And then these all need to be coated concrete. Just click all those through. And this is fixed in the blueprint. I just need to fix it in the stuff I already placed. Is it easier doing this than just deleting it and replacing it? Who knows? I'm not gonna get out the old speedrun timer to figure it out. I'm just gonna click this up through. And done. Alright, so now we just need to extend these walls out. So these go there. Is that lined up correctly? Looks to be. Alright, so then we have that. And alright, so now we just have to just box off this entire giant area, which is unfortunately rather large. And there's not enough space to like go back one or anything. So we get fancy wall V1, which goes in along this side. Train passing through. Alright, now how much of this excess foundation out here do I need? probably all of it, or at least most of it. Let's head back and see if there's any that we can trim off to make this a bit smaller. When you put the entire thing inside of one gigantic box, it suddenly feels a lot larger than when you're just running around it with it being open to the world. Alright, so let's just get over here. And can any of this be removed? Yes, just this last little bit, but it's something. So we can get all of this out of here. And let's just mass dismantle all of those. And then all of this stuff, technically we could get rid of it, but it's going to wind up inside the box anyways. So now let's look over there and slide off of the foundation. Alright, so then that goes in. Now we should be in the clear. Actually, I think this last one is unneeded. I think if we just place in a corner here, nudge that back so that it's lined up properly. Right, yeah, that looks right. Then out here should be plenty of space. Alright, so now we just have to keep on placing these walls. If I discover a mistake now, I'm going to be real sad. So this has to run back here to line up. And then we need all of these to go in as well. Oh, I just placed two directly on top of each other. Can't have that. So now we have to run all the way back here and just keep placing these. Just keep on placing all these walls. Eventually we'll have all of them covered. Alright, this last one, is it needed? Do we need to go like another inch? No, this is actually... Oh, but there's that. Okay, so we do need to go out this far and then put a corner in. And I don't know why these don't line up correctly automatically, but you just nudge them into place and keep going. And just keep placing these. Alright, so these need to be facing that way. And then they need to line up like that. And we just keep popping these in until we have the lower levels all finished. And theoretically, these should meet up perfectly over there, if we get it correct. Alright. So this last one doesn't... The last one needs to go out, and we need to put a corner in. So then that goes in like that. And now is the moment of truth. Does this all line up? The wall goes in facing that way. Nudge it into place. And does that work? Yes, it does. All right, so that is that row done. Then the next thing we need is the actual bottom row, which I haven't done yet because this is not quite aligned properly. Because this corner has that, which messes all the spacing up. So now we're going to need to just manually build this. So that's under architecture. We have big concrete pillar. I guess we'll start by bringing the foundation over. So that is aligned like that. And so it goes off like that. And the pillar needs to come down onto this level, which is one above the floor, technically. So that goes over like that. Then these walls go over like that. And something like that. Fill in the top one there. And then start working our way around. So the corner has to line up like that in order to snap in with the rest of the walls above it. So then we extend those beams out. And we bring this down all the way into the ground. Then these beams come across. Just nice and easy. Alright. Why? What are you doing? Draw there. Cross into there. Gosh, what is it trying to accomplish with where it thinks it wants to go? So that goes out there and across. And across and back. Alright, then we get that half foundation carries across as well. And we're going to need these support pillars. So these go in there and there. And then the pillars themselves just stack up. Oh no, we don't need them there. We need this one to be in the other spot. Alright, so that goes out. This is meant to be there. And then the pillar just goes up. And this pillar just goes up. And then we need to have the... Where were they? These... like that and that. Okay, so that just reveals that these are too far forwards. I could have told just by looking at them briefly. Not very good at this whole aesthetic building thing, if you couldn't tell. Definitely does not come naturally to me. Alright, so then these... Wait, are these ones not lined up correctly? Oh no, the reason they're back is because these ones, the foundations are back, and these ones, the foundations aren't. Got it. Alright, that makes sense. Alright, so then those go there. And there. Is that correct? Yeah, that's gotta be right. So then the pillars go up like so. And those get that little bit there. And also we need those to go in like that as well on the corner. Alright, so that is all good there. Then we need to get the next one over here in. So this is a fancy wall there. And then we just need to... Actually, probably... Will this just fit in there? If we just pop one in there, is it going to work? It is. Sort of. Yes, we just need to take these foundations out. Alright, so that is that done. And now we just need to bring this foundation as well around the entire thing. So, fancy wall. And now all of these go in. I wish there were a way to zoop blueprints. So you could just place 10 of these in a row. That would be great. Alright, so then all of those go in. Then we put in the corner. It's just going to snap into the corner there. And then we have to go around this way. And continue placing all these in. Alright, blueprints. Wall. In they go. Alright. We are using a lot of concrete, and we seem to be slowly running out. We'll see if that becomes a problem. This is a big, very concrete-intensive task, obviously. Okay, and then that's another corner. So that goes in. And yeah, we're not going to have the concrete to finish this, actually. Which isn't horribly surprising, although it is quite disappointing. So we're getting like 4 per dimensional update tick thing, which is pretty good, but obviously we're gonna need a lot more concrete just to finish this bottom row, much less the entire thing. We also probably want there to actually be a floor inside for the interior of the factory. Not just what looks like a building from the outside is just open to the the abyss below from the inside. So we're just going to... I guess we can just start designing the next factory while we wait for this. Just sort of leave that a work in progress. Alright, now let's head over here. And let's get some signs in. So the next thing we're doing should be relatively simple. Hopefully. So we want... What are these? Portable miners. So it looks like we haven't clicked on the research to automate it. So let's go in here and automated miner. Alright, so we need steel pipes and iron plates in order to make these. So, 40 steel pipes, 40 iron plates. We're just going to make this from iron. And let's... portable miner. 10 portable miners is 40 steel pipes and 40 iron plates. This should be easy. So we're just going to use the iron pipes recipe, probably. Unless it's like crazy awful. Oh, it's pretty bad, okay. Do we still want to do this? How much is this going to be? So for 40 of those would be 160 iron ingots, which isn't that terribly crazy, honestly. It's going to be very simple. So let's just go with that. So pipes, steel pipes, 40 steel pipes equals 160 iron ingots, and then we have the iron plates, which is going to be another 60 iron ingots. So 40 iron plates is 60 iron ingots. So then we have 220 iron ingots, which, just click that, it's faster. Iron ingots. And we need 220 iron ingots equals, let's just go regular old recipe so we don't have to worry about water. Keep everything nice and simple. Alright, so let's just get this all sorted. So we need to arrange this so that I can see all of those while I'm editing my notes. So we need 10 automated miner, which is 40 steel pipes, 40 iron plates, 220 iron ingots, 220 iron ore. Alright, so that should be good to go. Also, how's our concrete? Back up to full. So that is all the planning we need for that. So let's continue building this, because we were ultimately doing that planning just to save time for our concrete. Let's fill our inventory up with some more of that. Then we run over here and fancy wall, which aligns there. And now all of these go in. And then we just have to keep this foundation running along so that we can get around the base. And then back to building the walls. And then this one gets a corner. Or no, not a V2 corner. A V1 corner, that's important. Alright, yeah, that's incorrectly. Then we just go around and finish this off. So, fancy wall aligned with that. And they all just go in. Alright, so that is the bottom half of this. And now we just need to add the top and then put the roof on top of that. And then this will all be good. So let's start with these. And just get up there so that we can place them just from directly on top of them like we did for the first row. Alright, then we climb up here. And one more. Oh wait, the factory actually goes out to here? No, this is just useless foundation, which we can remove. Right, I think I planned that out when I placed the wall there to begin with. So none of this needs to be there. And then we can just stand here and just keep placing these along. So fancy wall V4. How do I tell which side is facing where from on top? I guess we'll just have to place it and see. Alright, that is correct. And then we have the corner. Alright, what is going on here? So this needs to line up like that. And go in. It all lines up properly. Alright, so you can actually, if you look closely, see the foundation sticking through. So if I just place it like that, then I know that that is correct. Alright, now we just run along, placing these in front of us until the row is done. And then I think this is another corner. So we put this fancy corner V2 in. And just make sure to line it up right. If you line it up wrong, everything's going to be messed up forever. And we just come around here. And we keep placing these in. Alright, just run along. I think this one somehow uses less concrete than the other one. I'm not sure how, but looks like it's 82, as the other one was like 100 or something. Alright, this is one more and then the corner, I think. No, definitely not. So we take that one out, put the corner in. Alright, you get nudged all the way... Oh, that's the wrong corner. That would be why it's not working well. Alright, so we have it like that. Then we just nudge it along to be in place. And then we continue building this. Alright, like that. The wall is on the outside. And we just keep on going. Alright. So just go along. And boom. We meet up with the existing walls. Now we're down to 500-ish concrete, so we're just gonna grab that into our inventory and probably just build the automated miner factory, and then we can come back to finish this. I mean, the automated miner factory is not going to take any significant amount of time. It's one station and like 3 lines of machines. So let's head over. Let's head somewhere convenient, on the other side of this, because we have a lot of building over here. And yeah, if we go from a distance, that does look pretty solid. Alright, don't get hit by a passing train. And then off we go. Alright, so we are now over here, sort of not quite the middle of nowhere, but decent distance off. So now we just build out a train station. So that is the intersection. Lots of trains run here. Then we get like one single thing of two-way rail there. Then we need to connect these up so that comes out there and in. And okay, so obviously that signal is going to have to be moved. What did I just do? Make block signal this again. Alright, so that has to go there, just has to be moved back a little bit. And then this one has to go across to there. And this one has to go across to there. And let's see here, this is the problem again. So you get to go there. And intersection solved. As long as we path signal, you are a path signal, you're a path signal, and then we get a block signal there. Alright, continue grabbing concrete from the depot every so often, just so that we can keep filling that up. Alright, so this is the input, which means this is the output, which means we centralize the train station on this. So this just expands out like crazy. And not blueprints. Train station goes... That should be far back enough, just have to have that train track loop around to behind it. Like this. Alright, then we have the train station. So we take out 1, 2, 3, and then 2 more freight platforms. So this all gets filled across. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, then we have the railway coming along. And now we have to figure out how to get it to loop. So I think if we just go out like that, that normally helps with the looping. Alright, so if we have it go like that, and then not do whatever it's trying to do there. Alright, then back like that, and then line up there. Alright, so now we just have to label this train station, and this is going to be Auto Miner Iron. Like that across, and this is going to be all that it needs, really. Alright, so then we run that. We grab some mergers to collect all this up. Actually, I should put in the locomotive immediately so that it can be running as soon as possible. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 train cars. Alright, so then you go from here to iron distributor, and here you go until you're fully loaded / unloaded. Wait 0 seconds, save changes. I do have to set all of these to unload first. 3, 4, and 5. Otherwise we'll sit here waiting for cargo to fill it up, which is never going to happen. Alright, now you can go. And you should bring iron back here. Alright, so then we need to collect the iron up. The reason we're doing this is because we can't be 100% sure which of the train cars will have enough resources in them once this starts to get close to the max capacity of the train cars. So we just have to pull them from potentially all of the train cars just to make sure we get the right one. So we just do that. And then we go up here. And build a wall up. And we need one more. Alright, then the foundation comes across. And we're going to try to just do this entire thing directly on top of the train station. Being extra compact is always nice. Alright, so that for the scale of the project of this, it should be enough. Like, it's mega scale compared to what you would normally make an automated miner factory, but it's still really quite tiny in comparison to like a heavy modular frame factory or something. Alright, so that goes there. We only need 220 ore, so we can actually use Mark III conveyors for that. Alright, so now we're up here. So, 220 ore to ingots is going to be some smelters. And these are 30 each. So this is going to be most convenient probably as a speed limited thing. So that's 60, 120, 180, 240. Actually, how many of these are there? 6 of them. 6 is actually a very easy number to split into just normally, so let's just do that. Saves us from having to do weird ratios on the other side, I guess. So these all go in. Then all these go in. Like that. And then we get a splitter there. And alright, why did I place that splitter like that? Obviously it's supposed to be facing the input. So these are going to be 110 each, and that's going to be 220. Alright. So then these are all 220 divided by 6. Oh, did I not type that? 220 divided by 6. Have I done the math wrong? 30, 60, 90. Oh, I definitely have. 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180. We need 2 more, which is 8, which is still easy to load balance. Alright. So we do have to take all of these out and redo this slightly, but it's still a nice convenient number. Alright, so all this comes out. Then we have the splitter, every other one of these. Then we get a splitter every other one of these. I have them like that. And then we have a splitter there. So that goes into there. That goes into those two, which go forwards into those two. And now we just have to do the last bit here. So that, oh no, not straight mode. Alright, so that gets those two. That gets those two. That gets those two. And that gets those two. And all of them have iron on them. So now this is 220 divided by 8, which is 27.5. Cool. Now we just paste that across. And done. Alright, so that is all the iron we need. So next up, we need to merge that all up. So this all goes together. And I believe it was 160 and 60 was the splits. So the plates needed 60 ingots, the pipes needed 160, which is incredibly convenient from a balancing perspective, because 60 is just like the perfect number. Alright, so then this comes out here. And all of those go across. Alright, so then we have a smart splitter, which goes center any left overflow. And so that is going to be a Mark 1 belt. That will be a Mark 3 belt. So this just goes to the plates, which I guess we can be compact here. And put that in. And just put those in. Something like that. And like that. No, not rods. Plates. And both of those get to make plates, so that is 40 iron plates a minute there. Then we take this belt and we feed it into, I think, also just 2 constructors, right? Let's confirm that. Constructor, iron pipe. Yeah, so it's, in order to get 40, we need 20 and 20. So we get 2 constructors there. Alright, while we're doing this, let's grab more concrete into our inventory, because we're going to need to finish that building after we're done with this. So then this splits across those 2 and makes our 40 steel pipes. Alright, and now we just need the row of assemblers for the final production, and we need to split the resources into them. Let's put them like back here. Just actually, is there any convenient way of getting these to something that's just like nice and easily divisible by 5? So let's see, this is 160, right? So we could split it into 60, 60, and 40. And if we did that, then we would get 15, 15, and 10. So is that more convenient? Oh, it's not actually called automated miner, it's called portable miner. I always forget that. So no, that doesn't work out to anything. So we need to get these into a convenient multiple of 4, basically, would be the trick. That isn't this. So wait, actually we could go 16, and that would be 64, then 64, then another one for 8. Is that going to... Can we get these ratios? So we have... What is it? How do we get those ratios? So I guess it would just be 2/5, 2/5, and 1/5, so that would not solve the problem in any meaningful way. We would just shift around where we have to do the 1-to-5 splitter. Alright. 20 it is. Copy, paste. Alright, so we get a 1 to 5 balancer just sticking off of each of these. And let's see, how do we want to make sure that these don't run into problems? I guess if we squish this one right up on top of it, then this one should have space. No, it's definitely not going to. That doesn't help at all. Well, we can have this over here. And, oh, so that is a merger. So we can actually input it from that side and be fine. Priority merger? Nope, just regular old merger. Nice. Alright, so that is the 1 to 10 splitter for the pipes. Then we need to just do the same thing over here. So this goes there. Grab more concrete. Always be grabbing more concrete. And then we need another one of these. So that this one can go there and then curve around in. Alright, so now we have all of these. We just need to get the assemblers in, which are going to need a bit more space, unfortunately. So let's fill in some of those. And the assemblers, that should be enough space, hopefully. Is that going to be enough space? It'd be great if it were. So let's start like over there. And get these assemblers in. So, automated miner. There we go. And we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have to expand this out a little bit. Alright, so then I do want to go some more over this way. So that's 7, that's 8, and then 2 more over here. 9 and 10. Alright, so now we need to get the plates and everything in. So I think what I'm going to do is just make a quick 3 high wall there. Have that go over top. Like so. And then the plates can come in from above. Actually, is that going to be... It's going to be kind of annoying to set that up. So we're going to have to get those in along this line. And just lined up like this. And hope that we're not messing all these up. Like that one is definitely wrong. Has to go there. Then 1 past. Then 2 past. Then 3. And then right on the middle. Alright, so now these all go up like that. And then we can send the iron up there and then bring it back down. Oh, that one was misaligned. I think we got most of them at least. Okay, the first couple seem to be more wrong. Alright, so all of those are in. Now we just need to worry about all of these. So you go over there and then in. You go over there and then in. You go over there and then in. Yeah, this is a bit dicey, isn't it? Just getting the spacing right. That can just go like that. And then we should be clear for the rest of these, hopefully. At least a little bit easier. I do have to not clip through the lifts. And so then that one goes there. Okay, that's too sharp, apparently. So what if you just go out like that? And then loop up to there. And this one can come around. And around and in. Alright, so that is all of those. Now we just need to go up here, expand this out like that, and then send all of these up, which we can just go there. It's a reasonable line to just put them all on. I don't know if we're going to line these all up perfectly, but it should be close enough. Alright, so then all of those. These all get to come down. And down we go. These two are very close, but not close enough to cause problems. Alright, so now these just go across into there. And just like that. All these are up on the logistics floor. So now we need to get from here into there, which should be trivial, right? Just place all of them around like the right angles, and some of the further ones will be quite long, but should all work. So we're just going to need to fill all this up. Speaking of large amounts of concrete, let's grab some. So we just need to fill in this whole thing as a floor. And then all of these go in as well. Not like that. Like there. And these are only going to be moving like 4 apiece. So mark ones are definitely more than enough. Alright, straight mode belts across. And like that. Just want to get them to all line up properly the first try. And like that and in. And then this one comes across to here, which goes into that. And we just keep bringing these along. Alright, that is about as long as a belt can go, apparently. And it's done the weird crooked thing as a result, I think. It's close enough, though. You won't really notice unless you squint. Alright, so that can come along to right there. And then into there. And then forwards. Just 3 more, and then we can power this up. And say we built an entire factory today, as well as decorating another one. Alright, so then that has to line up like that, and then go across there. So this is going to take a while for these more distant ones to reach the end, but it's not really a huge problem. Alright, so then that goes in, and just one last belt. And then we can bring all the power across and see what happens. Alright, how's that? Is that lined up? Not quite. Close enough, though. So that is all of the belts connected. Except for these. Except for the important ones. So that just goes into there. And we got all of those. Alright, quick sanity check. All of those are good. Should be fine. Alright, power time. So we just get power poles in, and all the machines are on this one floor. So it should be nice and simple to hook up. Be pretty hard to miss important things here. Alright. Grab more concrete. Just have absolutely tons of it for finishing the fancy factory. Alright, so all of those go in. Then we come back here. And we power those, and we power those. Then we go back here, and we get all of these, the smelters. And a couple last to go, and then we just have to hook up to, yes, so I believe we've gotten everything. Now we just need to hook this up to the train station, which will power it all on. Alright, there we go. So that should be that. And while it's turning on, we're just going to run back here and set up the output. So we just get a whole bunch of mergers, and they all just go back this way. Alright, so all these mergers go in, and then we just belt them up. And then we have way more automated miner production than anyone could ever possibly need. Like, in terms of the number of buildings, it's not a lot. In terms of the amount of resources being used, it is not a lot. In terms of the amount of outputs that we are producing with this, it is an absolutely preposterous number of automated miners. Like, no one has ever even needed 1 a minute, much less 10. But here we are. Alright, so now we just go back here, And we get an industrial storage crate because why not? It's honestly just funnier than having a reasonable sized storage crate for these. And then we get a sink. I don't even know if these can be sunk. I assume they can. So then that. And left is overflow. Just gotta find a power pole to connect that to. And we're all good. Alright, I seem to have missed something. Yes, I have. Missed that belt in there. And I think we missed that belt in there. Oh no, this has to be specifically a Mark 1 for the balancing to work, I think. So let's get that in there. Yeah, because that is supposed to be exactly 60 going that way, and then the spare 160 going this way. Alright. So steel beams going out, iron plates going out, and let's grab more concrete. Now let's head back over to the crystal oscillator factory, now that that is running. We still need to finish designing it. We had to pause for a bit because we ran out of concrete, but now we have plenty of concrete from building that factory. So we're going to run back, and I mean, we're going to have an insane amount of automated miners in our inventory, or in our dimensional depot. So that should be fine. Alright, back over to here. Alright, it looks pretty good in the distance. Glad to see that. It doesn't mysteriously, magically look awful from back here. Alright, so we make it back. And alright, there's our ladder. So we can climb up this. And all the way up. Make this ladder a bit taller. Up we go. And now we jump over here. Alright. Now, we have to build the old fancy wall V4s, which this doesn't feel like the right place to be building them from. Oh, but it definitely is. Yeah, I guess they're just like this. Alright, so pop that in there. That all works. And now we just run along, putting these walls in. And now we have enough concrete that, at the very least, that won't be an issue. The other resources might, but they probably shouldn't be either. Alright, so then this is a corner. That's a V2 corner. I really need to organize these better at some point. Alright, so that corner goes in like that. Then we get around. And we keep on placing. Is that right? No, that's backwards. So then that goes in like that. And we keep on moving. Just very reminiscent of building the train tracks, except it's this whole giant thing instead of just like a couple of foundations and a train track. Alright, so then we get another corner. Okay, not sure why it snapped in properly that time, but not going to complain. Now we go around here. And then that has to be facing like that. And we keep on going. So I guess steel might become a shortage. Probably won't, it's only 28 per replacement. And then the other things should be fine as well. Alright, so then this is another corner. It's a V2 corner. Stop picking the wrong one. Alright, you just have to look at the one below for it to line up properly. That's the trick. Then we go back to wall V4 and just pop them in. Alright, and that is enough for that row. So now we just need the top row followed by the roof, which probably need to do a better job on, honestly, but it's fine up here, I guess. Alright, so that goes in. And now we just run along this way, going clockwise around the build this time, whereas the other time we've gone counterclockwise, not that it matters. Fancy corner V2. And line it up. There we go. Then we just keep on going. Alright. There we go. Just keep getting all these in. And we are almost finished. The steel is looking like it's going to be right on the verge of being a shortage by the time we finish, but I don't think it'll actually quite get there. At least if it continues at the current rate. Alright, then these walls go in, and we just keep on going. Oh no, probably will actually. We're down to 100 already. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to wait on steel. That's annoying. Alright, let's put the corner in. That corner requires even more steel beams. Alright, well, we are very, very close, and the steel is not that slow, really. So we're just going to have to wait on it. And, oh, I see a yellow. I see some yellows over there in the factory. We're gonna have to fix that. Alright, so this... yeah, so that waiting has just got enough time to place another couple. And... yeah, we're very nearly done. So I think literally one or two more. That goes there. And the last one goes in. Alright, so that is all that. Now, aside from the roof, the factory is done. So, two steps. First of all, figure out what is going wrong with this, and hopefully fix it. And then figure out the roof. Not enough rubber is obviously the problem. There's plenty of AI limiters, plenty of quartz crystals, but rubber is short. Alright, let's head back through all the rubber belts. See what's going on with these guys. So you're 100%. You are 71% because you can't output fast. Really? That's it? It's just a belt mistake somewhere. I don't know how fast this is supposed to be. But yeah, so you are clearly just speed limited. And you are very nearly so as well. So this outputs 23 a minute onto this Mark 1 belt, which comes around here and into this. It produces plastic, which is going at 100%. And this is also speed limited. So how... So this looks like that's 46. Alright, so yeah, all of this is just because of the shortages of the output. So where is the belt that's going too slow for this? Also, where's the ladder for us to get up there to look? Here it is. I knew I had to have one around here. Alright. Conveyor lift Mark 1. There you are. So you can go super fast now and output all the rubber you need. I think it was like 70 rubber that we needed, and the Mark 1 is just barely not enough. And this is all Mark 2 belt. So that should resolve the problem and get everything working again. Yeah, should be fine. I mean, everything else looks nice and comfy in terms of the AR limiters and quartz crystals. In fact, they look comfy enough that I'm probably going to have to pull them out so that the belts move at the satisfying rate. So let's head back to the quartz crystals. And you don't get to have a huge amount of spare. You don't get to have a huge amount of spare. And then we need to also make some slack on the belts in order for that to work. So let's head on up. Alright, so we just pull all the quartz crystals from this. And we just keep doing that until... Just keep doing that for a little while, until they no longer are coming through at the maximum speed. Then we should create the desired effect. And this is not the fastest way of doing this, probably. But it is quite satisfying. Alright. So now these belts are obviously all becoming emptier. Alright, so this... I don't know how much we need to do, but that should create at least some degree of slack on the belts. Actually, how much is this? That's 50, that's 50. So the whole thing is 100 out of 120 possible, which is not that big of a difference from the max speed of the belt. Alright, so the other way of having that same effect would just be to pull some quartz crystals out of the end machines. So we just go up here, and you don't get to have 200 quartz crystals. These are all going to have to fill back up and that should keep the belts as clear as they should be. And in the meantime, the rubber problem should be resolving itself as well. And the AI limiters haven't backed up to the point where that would be necessary to do anything like that for them. Alright, now let's throw away all those quartz crystals. And then drop down to see what this looks like for them now. Yep, so now this is pretty clearly 100 out of 120. It's coming out in batches like this, and getting split up nice and evenly amongst all of the stuff. Alright, that is that. The AI limiters are slow as usual, but cooking along nicely. And that's everything, I think. So the only thing left to do is the roof. And also just check what... That's a lot of crystal oscillators pretty quick. Not going to complain about that sort of production rate. It is 10 a minute. Alright, so now we have this nice factory, which should now be running at 100%, unless there's some other unforeseen bug. Alright, now let's just pop the roof in. Although it's probably going to need a lot of steel. Where is that? Basic roof. Yeah, so this also uses steel. But we only have to do one layer of it, so it should be fine. And then we're gonna have to work out the corners of these, obviously, because it doesn't quite work out perfectly. Alright, so then this would need to technically intersect like that, I guess. But it is necessary in order to get the full coverage. It's going to be just a tiny bit of clipping near the corners. Alright, so all of these go in. And I want to put some sort of boxy structure of some sort on the roof. Alright, this time though they line up perfectly, so the other roof might just not have been placed properly. Oh no, it's because this doesn't line up right with the actual wall. Alright, so we have to do that in order for them to line up. And we just keep going around the edge. Alright, just a couple more of these to go. And then we're going to have to get the interior of the roof and probably do something fancy on top to make it look not just like a giant flat plane, which is what it currently is. I mean, it's not a huge priority because you don't normally see the building from up here anyways. But it would be nice to have some sort of decorative something on the roof. So these all just go across. And almost there. Alright, and then these ones, we're just going to line up with this one since it's already here. And go back this way. Alright, so now we just need to fill in all the rest of this stuff. Like that. And like that. And yeah, the misalignment is a bit unfortunate, but not much you can do about it. Alright, so then we just bring the barriers around to the corners, because this is a nice, safe roof where people do not randomly fall off. There we go. Nice, secure corner. Alright, now we have to fill in the rest of these corners as well. So that goes along there. And along there. And then the corner gets filled in. And I want the barrier going this way. Something like that. And alright, I guess it's going to be best to drag the barriers off of this side and then over. Okay, don't fall off. That would be bad. Alright, now we just work around to this side. And we finish the roof off. I think this is the last corner, unless I'm very bad at counting to 4. Which apparently I am, because there's this corner over here. Alright, so we go over this way. And that gets filled in. And that goes across. And then the outside of the roof is done. Finally, we just need to fill in the inside, which I think, just for the sake of consistency, I'm going to pick this particular edge as sort of the true aligned edge, ignore all the others. So this goes across. And, ooh, I just had an idea of something I could build up here. And it's not going to be perfect, but it can be like just almost like a monitoring station for the factory. So I can just bring the final output belt up here instead of doing all that stuff down at the basement. Or down inside the factory. I can have like an office almost up here that I use to check all that stuff. Alright, so this goes across. And just a few more of these. Alright, now we just need to get... Okay, we're running low on concrete again, unsurprisingly. So let's focus on building the thing. So we have this belt, right? And instead of just going straight across, I think I want it to go up. So it goes up there. And then eventually when it's done, it can come back down. I have to rearrange these splitters like that. And like that. And then it can come back down from over here. So just sort of giving it a bit of a detour. So it's going to go up there. And then it's going to go across. And then it's going to go back down. Oh, did I build that facing the wrong way? Yes, I did. I must have built it on a splitter output or something. Yeah, the splitter is facing the wrong way. Alright, so, splitter. There. Take that out. And pop it in there. Alright, so then those just get hooked up like they always have been. And then this comes around like that. Alright, now we go into logistics section. We pop down a conveyor throughput monitor, which just goes there. And actually, is it possible to like cheat and nudge these? No, it is not. Shame. But if we then put a wall just like there. This is not perfect, but it's pretty neat. Alright, so now the problem is that this doesn't get cut off enough. I know how to fix this, actually. I have to rewire this a little bit. Actually, it should be good just to go from this side. So we get in the throughput monitor. Ah, no, that's too sharp of a turn. Of course it is. Alright, so that has to come out then. And we need to just have a little section of straight there. And then we put the throughput monitor on it. And then we put the wall. And we nudge it in like that. Alright, it's not quite perfect. It'd really be nice to nudge it like another millimeter over, but can't do nudges quite that small, I guess. Alright, then we just need to turn this into a little sort of mini... How do we get this to line up? Just like that, I guess. And then we have this little... We just have this little thing here, which we need to line up the rest of the walls onto. Please stop being weird. So that has to go like that. And then over here. And then this just needs to finish it off like that. And then we just cover all this up with some of that. And we have a little display, which we can turn this into like a room sort of thing, like an office. So then the other thing I would want would be a display sign up here, which I can't quite get aligned on it properly. Or just pop that there. Actually, is that floating? Can I make that not be floating? That, I guess it's just going to be floating a little bit. So we're going to call this crystal oscillators and 10 per minute. So that's how much it should be. Directly underneath is how much it is. And as we can see right now, it is perfect. Alright, so then we're going to have to design this into a thing, probably, of some sort. Not sure what I want to do with that, but it's going to be like an office type of area. So I'll think about that, probably come back and do this next stream. For now, though, I just want to finish off this gigantic floor. Got a little bit of an antenna sticking through. That's probably good, actually. Lends just a little bit more character to this area. And actually, what I could do is I could create a couple other almost like debug stations up here with more of those for the different like direct inputs. And then we can see just from up here how everything is working and if anything is going wrong. That would be quite cool. I don't know how... I mean, it might be very difficult to get all the physical items up here, but it would be very neat if we did. And it'd also be handy, just so I can tell at a glance if there's a problem. I can tell at a glance what it is. And I think the things I might want to pull up are the raw resources, because at this point I'm fairly certain that the actual processing of the factory is correct. Like, the thing that I would want to check would be, oh, the iron supply has decreased. Because as long as this gets enough iron, it'll always do the right stuff with it. It's just a matter of if it doesn't get enough iron. Alright, so we have that. Then I've also just realized we can't really get into the factory super easily now. Is there... What can I do here? Oh, I could do something like... that, create a fancy spherical hole that I can drop down into. Alright, let's make that, like, over here. So if we just go... and we take some of those out, then we go inverted inner corner, and we just put these in like that. And then we stick a ladder down over there, so that hopefully it doesn't land on a belt. There we go. So now I can climb up here and come out in something that's vaguely deliberate looking. And yeah, so we have a lot more work to do on the roof of this. So we have this output checker, which is handy. We just need to have some of those for the rest of the resources. And that should be that. Alright, just confirm all of these should be at 100% now. Yes, 100, 100. Yep, solid across the board. So unless some other problem emerges now that the rubber is running at full speed, we should be all clear. So let's just drop down to check that this loop is working fully and there's not any obvious problems. That looks fine. That looks great. That looks great. That looks great. And that looks great. Alright, so if there is a problem, it's this. So this is 11.667 plastic. Right, so this is that whole thing. So this should be producing enough. I mean, it's running at 100%. Hopefully this is splitting it enough. It looks like it is. We're just going to trust that that is the case. And yeah, I think the factory is just about finished now. So we just have to do the roof and the floor, I guess. Because it does not look like the interior of a building right now. Alright, so yeah, what we need is we need to grab all of the inputs and then bring them all the way up to the roof, which, I mean, we've got plenty of extra space, especially like out the back, so that shouldn't be a huge issue. So we just take these up and confirm back there that we have enough of each of them, and then we should be good to go. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We really, designing these fancy buildings is very time consuming, and I don't know I'm going to do this for every single thing. I might like set some specific things, like I might do these for all the project parts and then not for all the random other stuff, or you know, something like that. But we'll just have to see. I think, for example, I'm definitely not going to be doing it for the automated miners, just because it really seems like a lot of effort for such a quick, fast factory. But yeah, that'll be that. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We're going to be back to factory design next week, probably, unless building the roof takes all stream, which it might. Then we should be probably doing high-speed connectors next time, because we still need those for some stuff, and we don't have them. Yeah, so we're in the awkward phase 3 mode of just like there's 50 different random semi-optional things to automate before you can like really be comfortable moving on to the next phase. So we're gonna be stuck there for a while with SAM fluctuators and probably some other stuff too that I'm not even remembering. But aside from all of that, yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. I will be streaming Satisfactory again on Friday, and I'll be streaming Factorio tomorrow. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, make sure to stop by then. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5, altering between various factory building games. So yeah, that's about it. Make sure to follow if you haven't already, and I will see you